Hey, everybody, we are live. Steve Moran and Douglas Yates here. How's your
How's it
days?
going, everyone?
It gets going good over here, man. Going good over here.
That's good. I know you had a couple days of some golf days. How'd that go?
You know, golf is such an interesting game. I went out and, just all full of, I hadn't played for about 10 days, and
Right.
then we had a match on Wednesday. It was our men's club against another team, another country club's team, right? And we were at our course, and I couldn't hit my ass with both hands. It's like I was hitting these little left duck hooks all day long.
Oh
with,
man,
my, with my driver. With my driver, I was bailing everything else out.
little chili pepper. You hit the chili pepper.
I mean, I couldn't hit a drive, and that's usually like my most consistent club. And then the next day I'm playing the course where they just played the U.S. Open, right? So I'm like literally having I can't sleep at night. I'm going, what am I going to do? I got to figure out how to, do something. And I finally figured it out, but it's so interesting. You think about like golf is such a different game, every other game out there is pretty much played like in a box, right? You're playing in the same kind of stadium on the same kind of field, you kind of make a rotation around kind of, where you're going, but the dimensions are all pretty much the same,
Right.
And the elements, sometimes are involved. It's like, I mean, if you've got, wind, I'm sure it, affects a football or a baseball a little bit, but it affects a golf ball way more,
Right.
like 300 yards. Right. And, in every other sport, you're getting to stand on flat ground and operate on flat ground, and depending on where you hit it, you're uphill, downhill, side hill. And it's like, it just changes all the time. You get the wind, you've got, then you've got the dampness, the elevation, the ball carries farther at higher flights. It's like, there's just no other game in the world that's like has these constant changes, like golf does. And I think it's one of the things that's, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, then so yesterday I came out and I just had one swing thought and I hit my driver great all day. And I shot 79,
That's
had
good.
4 birdies and played really, really good. So it was but it was just it's so frustrating. It's so
That's
weird.
interesting. I never thought of how you put it that way. It's not there's not a defined space. The space is different every time.
The space
Even
is
on the
different
same even on the same course.
Oh yeah.
Because your avenue
the
of
variables.
your ball will be different on each hole, or even when you play the hole again, you'll be different.
It's different every time.
Yeah.
It's literally different every time you play it because you don't hit it in the exact same spot. The hole's not in the same spot. The wind's not blowing the same. I mean, it's such a changing game, which is, I think one of the things that's really cool. And another thing that I think that makes golf difficult is every other sport out there that I can think of is reactionary, right? You're reacting to something, it's movement, you're reacting. And with golf, you just got a ball that's sitting there. You just got a ball sitting there, and it's like you got to do all the work, and that's why you get over there. Sometimes you got all these thoughts going through your head,
right?
It's like, you don't have that when you're trying to hit a forehand in tennis, or when a ball is coming at you at 90 miles an hour, and you're trying to hit a baseball, or it's just a different world. You're out there kind of all by yourself.
And you know what? We were talking about AI and stuff, before,
right?
And I think if they had they have robots that hit the golf ball consistently straight far every time, right?
Right.
You've seen those videos.
Oh yeah.
That would not work on the golf course. I think the AI to build a golf robot would be virtually impossible. I mean, the mathematics and the geometry and and knowing the weather and just so much input to process.
I'll tell you what they do have now. I mean, they literally have these GPS screen reading things, okay, where you can plot exactly where the pin is, and you can plot kind of where your ball is, and push a button, and it'll tell you the line to hit it, and it'll tell you exactly how much it's going to break.
Really?
Oh yeah, and there's these other things, and I just found out about this yesterday. I didn't even know they had it, but there's this new watch out. It's got the yardage to the front, the middle, and the back of the green. But then they also have these little tiny caps that you put in the back of on the top of all your clubs in the top grip.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And that's all you do is you put them on top of your grip one time, and that's it. And so then you go out to the golf course and the GPS watch knows where you're at and it loads that course. Okay. And then you hit your driver and it knows you hit your driver because it's GPS tagged.
Right.
Okay. To it. So it knows what you hit and it knows exactly, how far you hit it. And then you go up and it show you where the pin is. And it's like, you go out and play your whole round of golf and then you get to come back and it takes all this data.
Oh, it learns
it puts it into this system that they've been developing now that's got over like 80 million shots in it, okay, which is all these shots gain statistics, okay?
Right.
Like you gain more shots by, driving the ball here or approach shots or on putting. And that's the thing, like last week using those statistics, when they had this amazing playoff, right? It was a 6-hole playoff with DeChambeau and Cantlay. Cantlay putting, okay, was the best it's ever been since they've ever done this kind of statistical analysis, right?
On the putting side.
He beat the average person that weekend by 15.44 shots putting.
Wow.
That's much he gained on the greens putting.
That's amazing.
How do you catch up to that, right?
Yeah, virtually impossible.
How do you catch up to that? So it's just so amazing how that technology, it's like, right, they just put the watch on. He knows where I'm at. Once I put
I didn't know about that. That's crazy.
Now, then I can come back and I can take it and I can go onto this app and then I can go look and I can see everything. So what it does is it allow you to say, okay, look, here's my, my wedges. Okay. Here's what my dispersion pattern is. Okay.
Yeah.
How far left and how far right I typically hit it. Right. So if you really start to understand all your different dispersions, then, you get up and you set your target up on the green, all based on, these dispersion patterns.
Right.
Okay. To where no matter, you're always going to be aiming in a spot where you're going to be landing on the green,
Right.
And when you look, you start to think about things like that. And it's kind of like, I hit the ball that comes into the left to draw. If I got it on the back left, a lot of times I'll go for that. But then if you miss it short side, you're over there, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's like now all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, when I miss it, I pull it 10 yards. Okay. So now instead, when the pin's over here, I aim 10 yards right. Okay. I never really push it. If I hit it right on line, I've got a 30-foot putt, but if I had a normal shot or somewhere in between, it's like right there.
Right.
And it's like, usually you just kind of go out the flag because that's your point, right? But most people, you got to look at the angles. If there's water on this side, you always want to tee up on the side of the hazard because then you can geometrically change, the things. But there's just so many different things to the game,
That's amazing.
I'm still learning this stuff here. I've been playing it for 15
That's why
years.
golf is so popular and it's a multi-billion-dollar business.
It is. It's crazy.
It's virtually impossible
to multi-billion-dollar businesses. That exchange. I was telling you, Uniswap. I saw it last month in August did $39 billion in trades, and that was on one platform. That was on their new platform, and then they had another platform that was still running that did $14 billion in trades.
Wow.
Okay, so they did $53 billion in trades, and they made a half to 1% on each one of those.
Keep talking. Sorry.
So
that's amazing. The amount.
So the SEC is starting to see that, and they hear these numbers, and they're starting to do the math, and they're going, "We got to figure out how to get into this shit."
Yeah, which is a bummer. I mean, I'm all for oversight, but I mean, geez, if somebody's being successful at something, you don't need to slap them down.
No, but you just need to make sure that they're doing what they say they're going to do.
Right, exactly.
So right now they're I guess they're asking questions about, what type of, what is the service that you're providing, these kinds of things, so they can see that.
Those swaps. The thing about the swaps is the perception to the end user, which is us, is very simple. You're swapping coins, and you're swapping Ethereum for Bitcoin, or you're swapping Dogecoin for Ethereum, and it's like it happens real fast, but the perceived to the user is it's very, very easy. So a lot of people are going to these swaps, and it's basically behind the scenes kind of doing the same thing as a full blown buy and sell kind of thing, because that's kind of what's still happening in the background is you're selling one and you're buying the other, but you're just doing it on their platform and using their engine and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And some of their, like the Pancake Swap, those guys are, I think, right below these guys as far as volume goes. And they're expensive, but the ease of use is what people are loving, and that's kind of like the next phase. That the Bitcoin is kind of at the going into a massive adoption phase right now, and so the ease of use is what's going to really help fuel that and make it grease the skids on that part. And then then the next innovation will be whatever that is. Like the NFTs kind of is a new variation of blockchain, and so that's really taken off right now. And so this is cool. We're right at the beginning of this industry. Best time to be jumping into it.
Yeah.
I mean, your risk is so low now than it was 2, 3, 4 years ago. If it's so big that it's not gonna go just disappear. Let's put it that way. It'll have its ups and downs and such, but it's this is the best time ever to get into it.
It really is. I mean, the opportunity here is unlike anything we've ever seen or we're ever going to see again.
Yeah.
Okay. I can tell you that for sure. And I can also tell you for sure that, we as a team here, as the founders of this are committed to ourselves, we're going to be hanging around the best, brightest people that are out there doing the most good things in the world, and aligning ourselves with these kinds of people and groups and that kind of, structures of influence.
Yeah.
And I think that's, something that's really important too, because, you want to align yourself with people that have big missions. What we're trying to do here, this is not something, this isn't a small deal. We want to go out and help, literally go disrupt the entire nonprofit charity world.
Right.
And we're going to need some good help with some good people that have got the right kind of, the right kind of connections.
Yeah. And, we you said a word there, influence, and that's kind of, a buzzword in the industry these days. Oh, find an influencer, they'll get them to just talk about your product and blah, blah, blah. And that's awesome. That's a relationship type of marketing, which is great. And there's many ways to get the word out there, and we're in this use case, we're kind of in the marketing side of it, and using I'm not talking network marketing. It's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm talking about marketing to a network of people,
right?
A community. Let's say community. A community of people.
Yeah, turning your communities into an economy.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
Making money from your communities. Okay?
So, and what that does, it really leverages your marketing dollar. So we could spend tons of money on shotgun ads and put it out there and see what sticks and test, repeat, all that kind of stuff that you do, which that's, there's a place for that. But to really, at the beginning, to leverage your marketing dollars is to plug it into communities is kind of what we found that is the best way to go, especially for this for the Wheels token and such. And that's what we're doing. And we'll show you kind of how the progress goes. We're just at the beginning of that. And it's been exciting, and we can tell you about this much so far, and then further we get into it, we'll let you know more.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, it's kind of like we're very thankful that we have you guys watching and listening to what we're doing, and we're trying to help educate you about some of the latest, greatest things. But you understand, we don't know everything, and we certainly don't pretend to know everything. We try and know what we can about this industry. But that's one of the reasons that we're tapping into these other networks and groups of, people that are really have big plans, big things that they're focusing on doing. We want to always surround yourself with people that know things that you don't know. I think one of the best things in the world you can understand is that you don't know what you don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
And somebody else does know what you don't know. Okay. So, you never want to be the smartest guy in the room. Okay. Now, I mean, if you're running your business and stuff like that, and you got a bunch of employees in the room, you better be the smartest guy in the room. Okay. But, when you're going out and trying to, grow and think and expand and really kind of look at the possibilities of what might be able to happen. Okay. You got to hang around people that, think that way, right? You got to hang around people that, you know, that's the way they look at the world. And,
You said something there that's real important as far as self-improvement goes.
right.
From my point of view, back a while ago, I partnered with two very successful business guys, and we opened a family entertainment center, a 35,000 square foot building that we bought and turned it into like a Chuck E. Cheese on steroids.
Right.
And it was, I'm from the IT background. One of the partners was a builder, and the other guy he knew how to bring people in and create environments. Right. And that it was funny because I'm jumping in, helping wherever I can, and in some places I have no, I'm jumping into places where I'd never done before, like building a commercial building. I never did that before, right? And so I made mistakes and stuff like that. And one of the older guy, the builder, who I've known since I was a little kid, he's 30 years older, 20 years older than I am. He's like, "Hey, Doug just doesn't know what he doesn't know," and I was offended at first. Like, what do you mean? I know a bunch of stuff. But then I'm like, no, he's absolutely right. I didn't know that stuff over there.
Yeah.
And so it had made me open my eyes and step back a little bit and take in more information.
Right.
So I do know, and watch him and watch others. And so it's a really good technique to don't get offended at that comment. And try to implement it in your life.
Use it to empower yourself and make it a core belief. Okay, that we don't know what we don't know. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And somebody else knows more than we know. Not more than we know. Somebody knows things we don't know.
Right.
About things that we don't know about.
Right.
Okay. So, you never know how those things might be able to interact with your life or make your life better. And if you don't open your eyes and to the possibilities of these things, then you've locked yourself in a box. Okay, and that's what it's one of the reasons I had to talk about the golf today and how it kind of thinking inside the box is kind of just it's traditional kind of stuff. Okay, we're in an age right now where you can literally whatever you can think of. You can achieve. It's like my wife, God bless her. She's amazing. She sees me sit here in the corner all day and just has no idea like what I really do. She's like, so she asked me like to simplify it so she could tell her friends, what is it your husband does? It's like, she's just kind of sit around, so I told her, I said the 3 T's. I think, I type, and I talk. It's about as simple as I can put it. Okay.
Yeah. That's the physical things that you do.
That's the things I do. That's the physical things that I do.
Yeah, you're funny. It's funny because the life of the entrepreneur is really hard to explain to others because it's so chaotic. It's people think my wife has the same thing. Her friends ask what your husband does, and she's like, I don't know what he does. But he's always doing something. He's always getting something done. He's always doing, and things are happening.
Right.
And that's I don't know if it's good or bad. It's just that's the life of an entrepreneur.
Well, yeah, and one of the things too, it's kind of like the more that when I first came up with the idea, like with Ken's Coin and what it was going to be about, the more I started to talk to you and talk to some other people that I really respect their brain power and the ways that they think, we started to go down these road and you keep talking about it and it's expanding and it keeps expanding and it keeps expanding when you start talking to people that think up at different higher levels and
right, yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and
yeah,
it helps me access different parts of my mind. It's like that I don't get. I have to have that outside influence to help me expand and become more what I can be with it. And I've really noticed that so much here in the last 2 months. That just really kind of slow down, thinking about where we're at with everything here and really think through these things and ask yourself good questions. It's like Tony Robbins always said, he goes, the quality of your life comes down to the quality of the questions you ask yourself.
Yep.
And I think that's a really very, very true statement. A lot of us have that really bad inner talk, it's like, why does this always happen to me? And your mind's a computer. You ask it a question, it comes back with an answer. So, ask it a bad question, you get a bad answer. Ask it a good question, you get a better answer.
Yep, absolutely. And if you don't know the question to ask, just keep asking questions.
Keep asking questions and just keep about, I mean, one of the questions that I ask every day is like, what could I do to make this vision bigger and better for everybody? You
Yeah.
know? And it's like, I don't know, but seems like it keeps getting bigger and better.
That's true.
Nothing's coming to me like instantaneously at the time I ask the question, but I keep asking it. So the brain keeps looking and, keeps bringing different things and, keep going, wow. I tell my wife, I go, this is a lot of fun. I said, we kind of get to create it all as we go along. And, when you have the right kind of people around you and that can allow you to tap into that kind of stuff. I mean, that's what's empowering. You got to put yourself in the situation to succeed. And a lot of times just locking yourself in a room by yourself isn't always going to be the way to maximize that and do that, because you're not getting any of those other outside inputs. You're not learning and growing and developing. And that's what this whole blockchain is all about. That's what this is all about. And I think that everybody out there needs to learn as much as you can about this, because there are tremendous opportunities. We could help you introduce you to a lot of them, and we can help you become experts at some of them. But there's so much stuff out there that we don't know. There's so much stuff that I have no idea about. I mean, the possibilities are unbelievable. We were talking about AI, and somebody who I really, really respect, Peter Diamandis, one of his keynotes last year, he was talking about, if you're not using AI in your business in 2030, you're bankrupt. Okay. And it's like, this guy's been right about a lot of things he's never talks about. And like, Doug, where are we at on AI? Okay. We need to get moving on that. The 2030 is right around the corner, right?
Yeah, it is.
And it's like, again, but if you're not open to the possibilities of what's going on in the future, and the future being bigger and brighter, we can't live in our past, and that's the thing. Most people live in their past. They spend so much time in their past, and I kind of like it. Life's like driving a car, it's good to know what's behind you. You got to look back there every now and then to make sure you don't run into things.
Right.
But if you keep driving down the road and all you're doing is looking in the rearview mirror, you're going to run into shit.
Yeah, true.
And things aren't going to work that good. So Bitcoin, man, I keep hearing it's going to keep going up and up and up.
Yeah, it's flirting with 50 right now. Once it gets over that little psychological, it's not a physical barrier at all, because the supply is getting lower and lower, and the demand is not changing.
Right.
So the only thing left is the price to go up. And I said a couple of days ago, if you look at the blockchain, you analyze the blockchain, and when I say that, I'm saying it that way because I'm not talking about exchange prices, which is a completely separate thing. Exchange could publish prices at however they want to publish it, and I'll just leave it at that.
You're talking about just really digging into and
look at the actual
the analytics and how to look at things on
the actual blockchain, right? Which is where the asset is at,
right? And
the blockchain shows everything. There's nothing hidden,
right?
And so based on what's happening, first of all, the miners do two things. They create new Bitcoin, right? They're mining blocks, and when they finish it, if they're the first one to finish it, they get the Bitcoin in that block. They're not releasing those out. They're not selling them. They're keeping them.
Right.
And they're basically getting loans off of that to pay for their monthly expenses. Right. And so you got that's happening. So that's a hodl effect at the beginning.
And when you have a thriving market, that just continues to go up and up.
Yeah.
And up.
And then you got 62 to 68% of the buys now going into wallets that are holding Bitcoin for a minimum of 1 year and more than that. So that's another hodl effect. So this is taking inventory out of the available inventory of Bitcoin to purchase. And so that's happening. So it's kind of coming to a pinch point it's this month between the September 11th and the September 14th. We're kind of gonna you get to that point to where every time a buy happens, a little bit more Bitcoin comes out of the marketplace, and they project by that time frame, that week, that there will not be any liquid Bitcoin available. You're gonna have to talk to somebody and letting go of some of their Bitcoin to get it. And the only way to do that is to raise the price.
Right.
So
you talk about they're saying, like, right now I think they're saying about 200 million people have Bitcoin in the world, right? Well, they're saying in less than 3 years, it's going to be 1 billion.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just look at the math here, guys. We're going to be 5 times as many people are going to own the same amount of what there is today.
Yep.
Okay. Now the math works. Okay. But the more you divide that out, the higher that number has to be.
Yep.
Okay. So for that statement to be true, okay, what would Bitcoin have to be worth at that time? And I mean, I don't know the answer to that, but I'll tell you what, it's a lot more
than it is right now.
A lot more than it is today. That's all I can tell you for sure.
and then so and we're basing the value of the Bitcoin in US dollars, right? It's at 50,000 US dollars right now. That there's a whole thing going on with the US dollar where there's inflationary things happening, and countries that used to use US as a for the longest time the US dollar was the base money currency all over the world for business transactions, right?
But now everywhere's having problem with this, right?
Yeah. Saudi Arabia,
every country, Europe,
yep.
Dubai, everybody's having problems with it.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
Yeah. So tell you they're looking at the dollar with it's not as good as it used to be.
No, they just print them over there. Look at that. 1.9 trillion for this, 1.9 trillion for that.
So in essence, what's the worst case scenario that could happen there? Well, we could hold all our money in dollars, and also they can become worthless, right? Nobody wants them anymore.
Right.
It's like that's where it's hyper. They call it hyperinflation, and where it's like the peso. You're taking wheelbarrows down to pay your electricity bill because it's 700 million pesos to pay your $4 bill or whatever it is.
Right.
And so, that's the worst. If you just take that train of thought and go down there, that's the worst case scenario. So that's not a good place to store your money. So that's why, Bitcoin and blockchain and such is the right now the best asset, because gold and silver is good, but they leak. I like gold and silver. I think it's a good investment, but I also think right now, best place to be is in Bitcoin.
Yeah, and I think that's another reason you ought to take a look at the Ken's coin too. And you should take a look at the video over at www.kenscoin.io. Okay, we're going to be doing some amazing stuff with this coin, and we're going to create. A coin has to have utility, right? It has to. That's one of the big things that most of these coins really don't have. Okay, and Ken's coin is going to have the utility of it's going to be there for the whole community. We're going to have the exchange, the Ken's Coin exchange. We're going to put all these people at the exchange. Well, does that create community for it? Well, let's look at Binance. Isn't Binance the biggest exchange in the world?
They're one of the top ones. Yes.
They're one of the top ones, and their coin, okay, which is used for trading over there, is the number 4 crypto in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, so we're modeling that piece of it, but in a different way, because our exchange is going to be different. Okay. We're going to have all of these nonprofits and charities and foundations that we bring in, and they're going to all be right here pretty much at our table here. Okay. Because we're going to make it easy to buy where they can buy it right on their websites.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, I mean, you talk about, okay, we're going to have these charity golf tournaments. The only way to play is you got to use Ken's Coin. Okay. You want to buy the NFTs, you want to buy the auction items, all you got to do is use Ken's Coin. Okay, so I think we've got plenty of utility there. That I think we can show that we can definitely, use the community to create the economy.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, and
you heard that here first.
You heard that here, guys. This is what we are doing. Okay, we're going to, we're going to turn communities into economies. Okay, that's the mission. We can do it. Okay, we've got all the tools here. We have every piece of the puzzle that's been very well thought out and has been put together, that we're going to be able to plug the right kind of people in and literally turn on faucet. You want to go create your own currency? It's pretty cool, actually.
It is pretty cool.
Thought about it a couple months ago. What would that be like? Okay, wow, that was easy. Okay, now that we got it, now we got to think about exactly what's the best way to do this stuff, and not go out and this is taking a little bit slower time than I normally would take out and go out and launch a project, especially when you're talking about to people all the time. But it's just continued to evolve, and you guys are all going to see that, see that what we've got here compared to what we started with. The exchange, we're going to take 25% of the profits, or 25% of the profits. We're going to give that back to the Ken's coin holders. Okay. These exchanges, what did that exchange say? They did $39 billion.
Yeah, they did like in profit or in net gross profit was like almost $400 million
Yeah, okay.
in 1 month.
20% was 25% of that, like what, almost $100 million.
Yeah.
And how often is that? Oh, wait, that was every month. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You think it might work? I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor. Most people that would, if they would follow what I told them to do with their money for the last 30 years, probably wouldn't have much money left. But I think we got our hands on a tiger here. This is gonna be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
If you have a community, if you know someone that has a community that really wants to turn it into an economy, okay, a true economy where you can really create an amazing economy. Everybody here can participate and be rewarded financially at the same time, for using your economy, the right way. So it's gonna be fun. I think that's about all we got time for today.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. Have a great weekend.
Labor Day weekend, guys. It's a big weekend.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. Last weekend of the summer. I know a lot of people are going to go out and be traveling. Be safe, be smart. Don't go out and. Sometimes it's a good time to stay home.
Yeah. But don't go crazy.
Have a great holiday weekend, the last of the summer. And we don't see too many seasons changes where Doug and I live out here, right on the water and right here on the West Coast. But I know that's coming, and NFL football is coming soon too. That makes me real happy.
Yeah, that's fun.
So, all right, guys, have a great weekend. And since it is Labor Day weekend, we will be back at you on Tuesday. All right.
Tuesday.
Take care, everybody. Thanks.